Welcome to DCU Worlds. Let's talk about the delay of the Batman Part 2, which has now been confirmed that this won't be the film's name. The movie will be postponed once again. First, it was set to release at the end of 2025, then moved to the end of 2026, and now it's at the end of 2027 on October 1st, 2027. So we have roughly a 5-year gap between the first and second films. James Gunn also mentioned here that the only reason for the film's delay is that the script isn't finished. Another reason for the delay, according to insiders like Big Screen Leaks and Grace Randolph, is that Matt Reeves, the film's director, is facing personal issues, which would be why the script is taking longer. Let's discuss this postponement and also talk about the DCU, because according to insider Apocalyptic Horseman, it's quite likely that Robert Pattinson's Batman will be the Batman of the DCU. We'll cover all this in today's video, but before we start, don't forget to hit that like button, comment below, and subscribe for more content like this. Also, follow our other social media on Instagram and Threads. I'll keep you updated about this universe we love so much. Well, if I'm not mistaken, it was on the 27th that Deadline confirmed this information. This is something I already knew would happen because there had been so many rumors saying that the Batman 2 would again be delayed to 2027. The schedule was indeed getting tight. When the film was slated for late 2025, there was no official agreement to start production yet. That's why they pushed it to 2026. For a blockbuster superhero movie like this, it typically requires about 2 years of production time. So there was no way for the film to enter pre-production in mid-2025 for an October 2026 release. Films like The Batman need more production time. James Gunn made it clear that they won't start filming a movie without a finished script. That's their rule now at DC Studios. I know it's frustrating to wait 2 more years to see a film, but if we want quality, we must wait. So we're seeing here that 2026 would be DC's year, because we'd have the Supergirl movie, the Clayface movie, and the Batman movie. If they take this film out of 2026, we'll only have 2 films, making it a weak year for DC since Supergirl isn't a well-known character. Generally speaking, people don't know her. As for the Lantern series, it won't be something very open. It'll be a more contained and grounded series. But you need to understand something. All DCU productions will depend on Superman's movie success. Now, this rumor about Robert Pattinson's Batman being part of the DCU might be why the film is delayed, but I think DC Studios' plan is to launch The Brave and the Bold after Matt Reeves' film releases, so people understand this is a different Batman. In fact, director Andy Muschietti recently gave an interview where he was asked about The Brave and the Bold's production. He said it's somewhat delayed and he has time to shoot another film before this one. So probably by 2027, we won't see the DCU's Batman yet. I'm starting to see it'll take a long time before we see some major heroes in the DCU. Now, if Pattinson's Batman joins the DCU, you need to realize that this would change everything James Gunn has brought to the DCU. We wouldn't have a Bat family or a more fantastical Batman as seen in comics. That's why I think this Batman deserves his contained universe, unless they bring Robert Pattinson in to play both Batmans at once, Matt Reeves' universe. But I think this would also confuse most of the audience, so there's no way this Batman can join the DCU, because if that were to happen, James Gunn himself would have confirmed it a long time ago. Also, in the Deadline article, they say absolutely nothing about the Batman merging with Superman or James Gunn's DCU. On the contrary, they emphasize that the Batman is in a universe separate from the DCU. I know there are people who really want the Batman to be part of the DCU, and I imagine these people support and push for it to happen to convince the studios. But these people don't realize that this will never happen, because James Gunn has said countless times that the Batman is separate from the DCU. I find it very hard to believe James Gunn would suddenly abandon that whole idea of bringing a more fantastical Batman, which is the Brave and the Bold. And if we think about it, when Matt Reeves got involved with the Batman, he didn't want his film to be linked to a universe. The Batman was supposed to be a DCEU film with Ben Affleck, and there was a script ready, but Matt Reeves saw the script and refused to make that film because he wanted to do something more contained in his own universe, and Warner agreed at that time to make the movie. Matt Reeves has always made clear what his goal was for the Batman franchise. So if they really want to put Pattinson's Batman in the DCU, they will have to find a great narrative justification for how this Batman has Robin Damian Wayne, or how this Batman entered the DCU. And Damian Wayne has already appeared in the DCU in that Circe vision. Even the DCU's own Batman appeared too, so there's no turning back. They have made it clear that the DCU's Batman will not be Robert Pattinson. So guys, let's forget this idea because it's not going to happen. James Gunn also mentioned that it's very common for major film franchise sequels to have a 5-year gap. Some people complained about the sequel to The Batman having this 5-year interval between the first and second films. And he even gave examples like the Terminator movie, the Avatar film that had a 13-year gap between the first and second movies, Top Gun, which had a 36-year gap between the first and last films, and even the Guardians of the Galaxy films that had a 6-year gap between number 2 and number 3. So if they decided to postpone the Batman movie, it's because they want to deliver the best possible film, one that's on par with the first or better than the first. But I also think that James Gunn's mistake was trusting the screenwriters a bit too much or not giving a deadline, because the universe they want to build might take a long time. When James Gunn announced the first chapter of the DCU, I think he expected that The Brave and the Bold would be released a year after the Batman, since we would have in 2025 the Superman movie and the Batman sequel. Then we'd have a year of the best in the world. Then in 2026, we'd get the Supergirl movie, the Lantern series, and The Brave and the Bold. Now, they've postponed the Batman and pushed Clayface's movie to 2026. So that's what's happening. DC Studios was relying so much on screenwriters that it ended up ruining some plans. What we're seeing here is just a planning mistake that didn't work out. But really, I think James Gunn's mistake was not giving some deadlines to the screenwriters. I understand they want to ensure quality in their projects, but if they keep this pace, it could discourage audiences consuming these contents. So it can only be this, a planning mistake that didn't work out. Not that it could harm the franchise, but they are not delivering what they promised when James Gunn announced the first chapter of the DCU. So that's everything I wanted to discuss with you all. Don't forget to click like, comment below, and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.